Diolch de Proel, and thank you for your statement, Minister. Friday marks the 78th anniversary of the day on which the largest Nazi death camp was liberated by Soviet forces. 1.1 million people were murdered at that camp, 9 out of every 10 of whom were Jewish. This is why the 27th January is chosen to mark Holocaust Memorial Day. Why each year we remember this Holocaust determines to learn the lessons of the past, to remember the stories of 6 million murdered Jews and those of the millions of Gypsies, Roma, and travelers, LGBT people, disabled people, and black people who were also murdered in Nazi death camps. The world said never again. Yet genocide has continued to take place since those terrible atrocities committed by Nazi Germany. The Holocaust Memorial Day Trust also teaches us to remember those executed in the genocides of Cambodia, Rwanda, Bosnia, and Darfur. But even after all these terrible events, we fail to learn. Tragically, even in the 21st century, genocide is still being perpetrated around the globe. We have Rohingya Muslims being slaughtered in Myanmar, Wagner Muslims in Chinese province of Xinjiang being placed in concentration camps at the hands of the CCP. And perhaps, saddest of all, we see the sons and grandsons of heroic troops that liberated Auschwitz in 1945. Carrying out war crimes and quite possibly genocide in Ukraine, the world cannot sit idly by and allow these atrocities to happen. Yeah. And I would like to thank the Holocaust Memorial Day Trust as well as the Holocaust Educational Trust for their invaluable work in educating future generations about the Holocaust and more recently, crimes against humanity. Sadly, not everyone heeds these lessons, and we have seen a tragic rise in anti-Semitism in recent years. It was deeply disturbing to read the independent report into the NUS, which found that the National Union students has failed to sufficiently challenge anti-Semitism and hostility towards the Jews in our own structures. Minister, what discussions have you and Cabinet member colleagues held with the NUS here in Wales about the steps they are taking to stamp out anti-Semitism in our university campuses? As you point out in your statement, the theme of this year's Holocaust Memorial Day is ordinary people. Genocide is facilitated by ordinary people. Watching the trial of Altaf Hussain, Holocaust survivor Hannah Arendt coined the phrases, the banality of evils, meaning that evil acts are not necessarily perpetrated by evil people. Rather, they are the result of ordinary people obeying orders. Minister, how do we get this message across the people that everyone has a responsibility to stand up to hatred, that all of us have a duty to call out inequalities? Finally, Minister, you refer to the report of Lord Mann and the fact that tackling anti-Semitism goes beyond education about the Holocaust. You are rightly point out that this year marks 75 years since the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights was adopted. Will you be marking the anniversary by introducing your Welsh Human Rights Bill? Diolch yn fawr.
Diolch yn fawr, Altaf Hussain, and thank you so much for your support for this statement. Again, reminding us of those horrific statistics of those slaughtered in the camps and the horror afflicted on 6 million Jews, but also on the Gypsy Roma traveller people. We stood shoulder to shoulder at the at the vigil, the candlelit vigil, very moving today, cross-party, hosted by Julie Morgan, as she's done year after year, hearing also from our traveller community here in Wales, but also recognising the fact that disabled people were also slaughtered. T4, we won't forget that. LGBTQ people, but also reminding us of the genocides across the world as well. The theme is ordinary people, and I do want to just respond to your point about the NUS and universities. The Minister for Education and Welsh Language met the previous NUS Wales President last year. He had an introductory meeting with the new NUS Wales President in October, but he also met Lord Mann. You've mentioned, of course, the report on anti-Semitism, the UK government's advisor on anti-Semitism, and he met him last year to discuss the work and to raise awareness of anti-Semitism. And he also met with representatives of the Union of Jewish Students in February, and he discussed the experience of Jewish students in higher education, and also recognising that we expect from the NUS, we continue regular engagement with this, but we expect from them in terms of the investigation and subsequent report into anti-Semitism that we have an open and transparent engagement with them. But I think I want to finish by thanking you very much indeed for recognising that this is about human rights and it is about learning the lessons. Commemorating the Holocaust is so important to ensure we don't forget and never forget how dangerous hateful and divisive narratives can be and what can happen when people are and communities are targeted and dehumanised because of who they are. And I very much welcome, and I hope this is a welcome from your colleagues, for a Welsh human rights bill.